Hello, interwebs, and welcome to Closeup. I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm Justin.
Today, we're talking about... We did that gag once already. Justin reminded me, but I don't care. It was a couple years ago. I'm using it again. We're talking about the show that shall not be named. That gag would work better with a title card, but season 4 of that show. Read the title of the episode.
Oh.
So, tell me about how much you hated season 3.
I was so disappointed by the combo of season 2 and the first couple episodes of season 3.
Full spoilers for the whole series.
Yeah.
Up to this point, by the way.
I would assume when you're watching the season 4 review.
Yeah. I gotta mention it anyway. There's some strange people out there, even called out.
Anyways, I was disappointed by season 2 after really liking the first season. And then the third season, I started watching it. And then I was just like, no, I'm pretty disappointed with this show. And I'm not going to watch it. So then I didn't. Until you're like, hey, Justin,
Content.
we need content. We need something to review. And you've got Amazon Prime. And I'm like, I do. All right, I guess I'll watch the rest of Invincible. So I had to power through the third season. Painful.
Yep. And Mopey Mark Creations at it again. Right.
It took till the second half of season 3 to finally be like, okay, I'm a little interested. Maybe it was like the last 3 episodes, which is basically half the season, but
Yeah, the back half of the season was pretty nuts. I don't think we were actually reviewed season 3 on Close-Up. I loved it. I'm on record on Close-Up as saying I liked season 2 better than season 1. I don't know if that still holds true. They're both kind of in the rear view mirror for me at this point. And I loved season 3 as well. I loved all the show up to this point. Thanks, Ryan, for recommending it to me on one of the original Close-Up episodes. Very long ago. It was like one of our first 50. We first talked about Invincible. But better get into season 4 now.
yay.
To see if it's still good. So Invincible's long-form story finally starts to pay off here in spectacular fashion with all the gore, trauma, and comic banter we've come to expect from the show. What do you think?
I think it's okay. It's better than the last 2 seasons, I guess.
Yeah.
Mark wasn't so whiny. He actually finally, did something. He's still a little bit whiny, but
I think maybe you've gotten in my head about the whininess thing because it did bug me a little more at the start of this season. And I think to me, this season is a case of diminishing returns because I've seen a lot of this before and it's still good. But now we're on season 4 of him being very antsy about his responsibilities. And all of the Guardians of the Globe are also exhausted from the last couple seasons of traumatic experiences and the Invincible Wars and Engstrom Levy and Viltrumite attacks and Nolan's betrayals, and everything is just wiping the whole cast out. And you can feel their energy is in a lower state this season, and it's just not as fun to watch. I understand it from a story perspective. It makes total sense, but I've seen a lot of this before, and it's like I, as the viewer, am feeling the weight of these characters, and as the weight's piling on, it's just harder. It's harder to bear. Even though it's good content, it's just like, all right, I get it. Everything's sad and depressing now, and bad things are happening, and it's serious.
see, and I think that's how I felt when I came back to watch like season 3. The first time when season 3 came out and I started watching it, and I'm like, ugh. It's just not a show that I was enjoying watching anymore. Sometimes Invincible is just not enjoyable to watch.
And at the time, I loved it, and if I had to rewatch it, I'd probably still stand by that. But I feel like your experience with it is where I was in the first half of this season, where all that is finally settling into the point of, okay, it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad by any stretch. It's just, if you started somebody here, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I've seen
We've
4
seen
years
this all
of this
before, yeah.
Yeah. Except what I will say, going off of what you said, is by the end of this season, I feel like it was a little bit more earned again.
Yeah.
I love the way that his choice to destroy the Viltrumite home planet really came back on him in that last episode, where the PTSD of going on a 10-month war excursion in outer space is weighing so heavily on him because he, as he said, gave his enemies nothing left to lose. The Viltrumites have nothing left to lose, and they can retaliate at any time, and it basically will be his fault for putting them in that position.
Well, and I think the interesting thing was that, like, it wasn't really his call for that plan either. It was Optimus Prime.
Yep.
I always forget his name.
Nolan and Space Racer helped as well.
No, Optimus Prime led the charge. What's his name? He died. He got his head ripped off in 2 seconds.
Thetis,
yes. That's it. He was the one who basically...
Peter Cullen.
Yeah, it's Optimus Prime.
Yep. That information is in the back of my brain, but I couldn't remember the name.
Anyways, he made the choice and then got his head ripped off seconds later and doesn't have to pay the consequences of anything.
That's true.
He's done. He didn't have to deal with any of the consequences of the charge that he decided to do and kind of led and called them all over.
Yep.
So Mark and Nolan are paying for Thetis's choices, basically. Basically everybody is.
Which is sort of a recurring theme of the season, because the Viltrumites only doubled down on their galactic conquest because of Thetis's scourge, and before that, him assassinating the leader, the Emperor.
Yeah, so if you think about it, Thetis is the cause for basically everything.
Yep.
He's the one who disturbed the Viltrumites in the first place. I mean, yeah, they were
bad before, but they doubled down.
But they were just enslaving the planet. I mean, I say just enslaving, but like, they went from enslaving planets to
mass genocides.
Yeah, murdering everybody. So
before they were like, hey, we're the most powerful. Everybody will just be our servants. And then it became, no, we have to, might makes right, and we're going to obliterate anything that's not in our way. And the Viltrumites are a pure-blooded species, and everything that's not us is below us. And we're even going to kill each other if that's what it takes to stay strong. The whole Viltrumite background was one of the best parts of this season. That whole opening section of that one episode where it shows the entire Scourge Plague and brings it up to the point where you see the ring around the planets is just bodies. Great visuals.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Beautiful storytelling there. And Nolan being one of the last survivors. I love that scene where he's hauling bodies out into the ring, and one of them is his father, who was briefly in the episode, but kind of abandoned him because he was too weak. I like that he kind of looks like a teenage Mark II in those scenes.
Yeah, he's pretty similar looking.
Because when that first started, it makes it seem like, hey, we're on planet Viltrum. This is the first time we're seeing planet Viltrum. And all right, this is what their society's like. And oh, that's a young Nolan. Oh, that makes sense. We're in flashback territory. Got it. But yeah, circling all the way back around, the burden of responsibility feels more earned this time. Because before, well, think about how much it escalated just this season. At the very beginning, it's just, man, I'm doing Invincible Inc. stuff all the time. I'm getting paid to be a superhero. I'm stopping all these bad guys, and like the Earth is so tired of all this, and I need a break, man. I want to be with my girlfriend and My little brother's kind of annoying because he wants to break too. Boo Oliver for wanting a break. And I'm depressed. And then he actually has to go and fight a war with real stakes. And literally destroys an entire planet. And almost gets killed. He, gets his guts ripped out by Conquest. And he goes through it this season. And every season I feel like, wow, Mark goes through it. But this season was like, no, you fought in a war for most of a year. And you really feel the consequences of that. And now I'm on Mark's side. Okay, now that he's getting full-on PTSD traumas, imagining Thragg coming in and destroying everything he holds dear and killing everybody he loves, having panic attacks, actually taking Cecil up on mental health help.
I love how they use that to make the audience question, and you're like, okay, so he's not here. And then it's like, no, actually he is here this time. Oh.
But I kind of knew that. I don't know about you, but for me, I'm like, okay, storytelling tells me one of these times will be real. I'm waiting for the one time it will be real. Which one will it be? Is it gonna be when he snaps Debbie's neck off? Is it gonna be when he sticks his hand through Cecil and lets him bleed out? Is it gonna be when he kills William? Is it gonna be with the first scene in that episode when they tidal wave a city? And like, I don't know. Any of them could be real. Until they weren't.
The one I was most confident wasn't real was when he went through Cecil. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever.
That was nearly the one I was most confident in at the time, because I'm like, okay, it makes no sense he'd be attack Debbie or William randomly, but I'm like, okay, if you're going after somebody like Cecil who's important, we'd seen the flashbacks like 2 or 3 times by that point, so I'm already feeling like, okay, then like one of these next ones has to be the real one. So by that point, I was ready for it to be the real one. The Debbie one shocked me, though. I thought that one was real for a second, too, and then I'm like, hold on, no. I do not think so. So the Guardians of the Globe didn't really interest me this season.
They were barely in it.
Those first couple episodes with them are the weakest ones. They stopped the mind flayers, the Martians.
Yeah.
And had a lot of infighting and also were mopey. And then Monster Girl and Robot got trapped in another dimension, setting up plot threads for next year.
See, I wonder how this worked in the comics because, like, I don't know. It just seems very staggered. Like, is it one comic? Or are there more comics?
I don't know how many titles there were, but it definitely feels, I agree, that it seems like, okay, we just finished a big arc, the Invincible War and all the fallout from that, and then it's like nearly a couple of one-shots in the middle before the space arc on Viltrum starts.
Yeah, it just feels, I don't know.
It just felt like a lull period.
Did they decide they were going to stick in maybe they have a Guardians comic and they're like, okay, we have 3 of these that ran a little section here, and they're like, oh, Mark shows up in them ever so briefly.
And there's also other stuff too. In the very last episode when he gets back and he's like, oh, Eve just casually, oh yeah, I got my powers back. And then later, oh yeah, I had an abortion. And then Paul and Debbie break up off screen too. And maybe like Cecil and what's his name? Cecil and the robot guy. They're trying to, no, not Donald, the other, the robot maker guy. So they're trying to get access to different dimensions to get Monster Girl and Robot back. There's a lot that was going on in those 10 months where I'm like, okay, so I understand based on the show, we're keeping it from Mark's perspective here. he gets back home and he missed 10 months worth of stuff. Okay. But was that elaborated in a comic? I don't know. Because it seemed to me like, yeah, this was probably spin-off material or just stuff they jettisoned entirely.
Yeah, something about it just feels odd the way when they shuffle between characters. I don't know. Whenever it's not Mark, it feels jarringly separate.
Yes.
Even though I like those characters, but it just feels odd sometimes.
Well, none of them really got any payoff this year.
No, that's true. They got like nothing this year.
Like I said, there's a few things that I can see being set up for season 5, but nobody on Earth pays off this year. I guess Eve did, but even then, like, her biggest thing was making the choice to get that abortion, which she did off camera.
Off screen, and also was
Between
like,
the-
yeah, I've already dealt with it.
Yeah. Like, okay, that was your biggest arc this year, was dealing with the pregnancy and your power loss, and you dealt with all of that separately. And everybody else who had an issue, we don't really know what their issue, what resolved. Like, we never figured out, like Rudy and the other guy, like, they had their spat for leadership, and then Rudy went missing, and okay, now they're missing, and like, everybody who had an arc basically didn't resolve anything. Nobody on Earth learned or grew or changed. And then we have this new character, Zoe, who's a hero I don't remember seeing before in the show. I think she's new.
Mhm.
And so we have a new Earth-based character who's going into space with them. And then we're spending all our time with her and Alan and Oliver and Nolan and all the space people.
Boy, was she ever useless, though. They
They
made
built
it
it
out
up,
like she
yeah.
would have been actually helpful against the Viltrumites, and then it's like they just kind of forgot to use her successfully.
They built her up like it was going to be really important.
Yeah. And then she was more of a liability the whole time.
I don't know about that, but she was definitely,
Alan had to save her ass so many times.
but she also didn't get decimated immediately. And maybe that was the
No.
point. Her self-healing armor was kind of overpowered. And I think that's why the species that gave it, that it was derived from in the first place, was like, yeah, so we're not going to help you, but here's one who probably will. If that whole species helped, it might have made a difference, but one
I
suit
just
of
think
armor.
she only used her like helmet blast one time.
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't that supposed to be your anti-Viltrumite power that we're getting you for in the first place? She never used.
The most useful thing she did was use her wrist launcher to shoot the poison in the Viltrumites,
That's true.
make them weaker.
But she missed most of the time.
I think she only missed twice. There was like a dodge once, and then something else got in the way.
She
wasn't
still missed.
Yeah, she wasn't used to potential.
No, and for the amount of screen time that she used up, I was surprised that they didn't, I don't know, do something with her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like when they introduce new characters for background filler, basically.
Yeah. I feel like her purpose was to be not the comic relief per se, because Alan is still the comic relief, but just to be the one person here who's not coming into this with a heavy heart, who's like, hey, so my dad said it's okay, I come to this war and I'm just here to help people, and I'm not like overly burdened by it. She's the one person there who didn't really have a stake in it to the point of being super serious the whole time. So I feel like she added some tonal variance
I guess
when
so.
when everybody else is just mopey the whole time.
I guess.
We're at war and it's sad.
I just wish they made her more useful as a combatant as well. On top of that,
Yeah, I agree.
like we didn't get very much screen time for Speed Racer, but
Little girl in a big suit of armor. Take that away. What are you? I don't think she has a
Basically.
Tony Stark answer there. But speaking of the comic relief, like I was getting at, I think as heavy as this show is, it's still surprisingly funny in a lot of cases. There's a very good tonal balance that mirrors the complexity of life. Like, even though things are very dark and dramatic, there's still room to crack jokes or lighten the tension a little bit. And it's done in a way that rarely feels forced. It's not like Marvel humor, but it's like, okay, we're just acknowledging situations, or some things are just kind of funny. Like, all right, we're on this big mission to gather up all these artifacts which can eliminate a genocidal race. But on the way, the two romantic interests are having sex all the time, and the one guy just has to hide his ears with pillows every night on this months-long journey.
yes, it was funny. I think that's my thing, is that there were episodes that were good. Like, that was one episode.
Yeah, the Alan and Nolan trek for weapons, great episode. Episode 7, the one where they finally got to Viltrum and the whole battle around Viltrum, excellent episode.
Episode 8 was good.
I like the last one too. It was a good.
And whatever was episode 2, I think it was the Planet Viltrum one, or 3?
Yeah, I think that's where it started. Then there were other ones I know we disagreed on. Like, you really liked the Hell one. I didn't care for that one.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It was a bit of a change of pace, especially when it was coming at the beginning of the season, where, like, now going back to it, I'm like, well, it didn't really pay off for the rest of the season. It didn't really matter. It's pretty forgettable, actually. But coming off of the 3rd season and nothing happening still, and having something different happen, I was like, oh, finally, something different.
Yeah, there was some cool lore to it. I just thought it was...
But it wasn't Mark being mopey and being like, oh, I have to be a superhero for, the 3rd season in a row.
He was just in hell doing superhero things.
He was still being mopey and, oh, I gotta be a superhero,
but actually doing stuff.
But he was actually doing stuff, and he was in hell, and it was a bit more interesting.
Yeah. Now, when we're talking about Mark's mopiness again, it does remind me of it's like he was kind of going on an arc that got sidestepped halfway through, where in the very beginning, we're setting him up to nearly be more like an Omni-Man sort of figure. Like, when he's fighting with the Guardians of the Globe, and there's that one guy who's being mind controlled, and he's technically an innocent person, Mark just caves his head in, ends the fight. When they get to hell, I like that his first instinct was just, okay, I'm beating this person, cave her head in.
Well, he waited the whole time. He kept being like, oh, I don't want to help with it. I don't want to help with it. I don't want to help with it. And then finally, when he's like, oh, I guess I have to do this, then he's like, bam, see? I could have solved this at the beginning the whole time, but...
Yeah, and it didn't kill her, but I just like that. It's funny because in the past, he failed to kill Conquest the first time. He failed to kill Angstrom Levy, and I feel like that that guy was his first real kill, and it was just like an innocent mind flayer who was controlled by that. And then he tries to kill the magma monster and fails at that. But then he does kill Conquest. He kills a bunch of Viltrumites. He destroys a whole planet. But also halfway through that, he's kind of embracing his Viltrumite half and a lot of his own father. But also he's kind of regaining who he was at the same time. Like, I think the big flip is when he gets his old costume back. He goes from sad black and blue Invincible to back to yellow Invincible, who's still violent, but like a more tempered version. his mood definitely changed at that point. When he got his old costume back, he started feeling more like, okay, this is who I am. I'm invincible. I'm a hero, but I'm going to be a little bit more, okay, sometimes I have to kill guys to end threats. Okay, like there are situations where I'm going to need to be a little bit tougher, but he kind of reclaims his sense of self halfway through.
Well, I definitely like that they leaned on the idea that it was like, okay, he just went out flying for no purpose, which he did later again.
Yeah.
But he got the new suit and he just went flying, and it looked just like season 1, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Brings the
He was just
optimism
having
back.
fun flying and being a superhero at the very beginning.
Exactly. And those kind of shots are like, oh yeah, we're kind of bringing his optimism back a little bit. It feels symbolic. And
then the suit gets completely destroyed when they go to space, and
yeah, but then it gets sewn back up and it's patched back up. But yeah, when you talk about getting destroyed, that conquest fight was pretty brutal.
yeah, it was.
I've been waiting to say this joke for a while, but it sure took guts to fight him one-on-one like that.
Well, I liked that they let him finally do it though.
Yep.
By himself.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing, is he didn't need the backup for it. This is the first time he's fought the Viltrumites one-on-one and won.
I think maybe that's my problem, is that Mark as a character has grown kind of stale. He's not getting any more powerful. His attitude hasn't changed. He was starting to finally, and then they didn't really have time for it after that.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I don't know, there was so much going stale about him, and he doesn't feel any more powerful than season 2.
Yeah.
Despite everything that's happened in the season before, and like all of his training and all of his stuff.
But this season, he's actually forced to level up his power set. He's forced to change his outlook a little bit. He's got his symbolic costume change, and he solos Conquest.
I just feel like he could have done that before, though. The only thing that changed was his determination to kill him. That's it. He was just angry enough to be like, no, I'm not. He was just too stubborn.
Maybe. But I think that is part of his character growth as well, is he is more determined and committed and not holding himself back as much anymore. His morals have shifted to say, okay, sometimes I can't hold myself back for these arbitrarily idealistic reasons. This guy's a threat. I'm taking him out. And yeah, whatever consequences it might be. But yeah, that scene where his guts are literally getting ripped out. I don't know how Invincible continues to be continually gorier every season. That last Conquest fight, I'm like, oh wow, this is like 3 times as bad as season 1. That's crazy. And then he's literally getting his guts ripped out on the ground. All the squelching and awful sounds and everything in there too. And I'm like, okay, this show keeps outdoing itself somehow, just when I think they've topped it. And I'm not easy to shock. I'm very chill when it comes to violence and stuff, but yeah, this show gets me sometimes. Anything else cool to mention? Lots of stray thoughts. Haven't talked about Thragg at all. Excellent bad guy.
Well, they did extremely well setting how powerful he was from like the very first hit he does knocks Nolan all the way uncontrollably down into the planet. You're like, oh, okay, so this guy's like not just like Viltrumite level power, he's like stupidly powerful.
What says powerful, like smacking the season 1 villain like it's effortless. Yeah. His punches are so powerful. There's like anime wind effects around him, and every time he delivers a punch, it's like this guy has his own center of gravity. Nearly. Every time Mark goes all out, every time anyone actually goes all out to him, it's just wha-ting, 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 nothing. It's like hitting Superman. It's just
I don't know. He also didn't even flinch when Speed Racer's blast came like just past him.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even, not even the slightest flinch. Like I'm like, would that have killed him? I don't think it would have.
probably not.
Otherwise, they would have just done that. Yes, it kills all the other Viltrumites, but probably not him because he wouldn't have just stood there, would he?
Probably not. I wouldn't imagine so.
Because he still didn't move after that. He still just waited.
Yeah, I like his whole demeanor. First of all, he's got a badass outfit. I like that he has the symbol of the Omni-Man symbol on there. Like, okay, I guess that was a Viltrumite symbol. Cool. And he's very idealistic. He carries the skull of the old emperor basically at all times. It's like his keepsake. He was very loyal. He fully believes his purpose in life is to better his species through any violent means possible. Just always make the Ultramites better. And it was pretty cool to see how devastated he was when the planet was actually destroyed. Like, okay, this guy is super evil, but he does actually care about his cultural roots. And then his power play at the end was pretty surprising to me. It makes so much sense, but it was also very smart. Like, okay, waiting the whole episode for them to have a knockdown, drag out fight for planet Earth, and they're just gonna live among them on a planet of like 8 billion people. 40 Viltrumites are just gonna
37
Viltrumites are just gonna live on planet Earth and breed, and okay, and if you come looking for us, we will destroy everything.
I think I kind of had that pinned down once. It was like, oh yeah, and then he didn't crush his ice, and he let him live, and he's like, yes, there's too little of us already. That to me was the point where I'm like, connect the dots. I'm like, he's recognized that Mark's pretty strong, ish.
Which is also paying off.
And then it's like, oh yeah, what was Omni-Man's purpose in the first place?
That's what I was about to say.
So
find a species that can breed.
Because that's pretty much when his attitude changed entirely. And then I was like, okay, I see where they're going with this.
Yep. And how will that pay off? Who knows? Does Mark even tell Cecil? Because I feel like if you tell Cecil and anybody else, they'll immediately go looking for the Viltrumites.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he can tell anybody.
At this point,
otherwise, what would be the point in asking Mark in the first place?
Yeah, at this point, nobody else knows. I feel like that has to be Mark's secret.
From everyone?
Yeah. And he can't tell anybody, because knowing all the other characters as I do, everybody else will come looking. And what's Alan gonna do with the Scourge virus? Ooh.
Release it on Earth and then the problem is all done.
Well, I think what they said was, the line which interested me at the end there was when he said, it attacks everyone Viltrumite and anyone with similar genetics, like Mark's people. Like,
yeah.
Oh, does that mean that
all of planet Earth will die?
Yeah, just every human dies too.
That's what I assumed.
It's not just Viltrumites, it's anyone compatible. Just everybody. I don't think Alan will do it. Because, as we said before, a big theme of the season was that Thetis' Scourge virus and assassination attempts and everything he did to kill his people just made them stronger and meaner. And I feel like Alan's going to realize that repeating Thetis' mistakes are just going to make things worse somehow.
Well, yeah, it does seem like that's kind of the idea with Thetis, is that it's like,
he keeps trying the same things over and over, and it makes it worse.
He was like, yes, the solve to casual violence is extreme violence. And then it just tumbled downhill from there to more and more extreme violence.
Yeah.
He's like, yes. But also, here's a theory for you.
Sure.
Is Thetis the one who actually assassinated the guy?
We didn't see it. We saw he tried.
It was very purposeful, I think, that they did not show you who actually did it.
That's true. We saw he was there. We saw he tried.
I think it might have been a lie. That's my theory.
The betrayer myth is a lie. Interesting.
Maybe. I don't know.
We will see. It's possible. To me, that's one of those ones where I feel like I have to believe that's the truth until a further plot twist makes it meaningful somehow.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better story for why that would be important, that he wasn't. But if he wasn't, and that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's the question.
You got to justify it.
Who did and what was the point? Why?
And why did Thetis take the fall for somebody else then? Yeah, I think his whole thing is it goes a lot to one of the themes I noticed this season was kind of debating the moral ethics of genocide. Like, okay, but in this hypothetical thought experiment, all these people were really evil. Should you?
Well, small scale, even. Nolan and Oliver on the planet. Oliver stopped Nolan, or
From killing
from killing. Yeah, we won't
eggs.
be able to get more of these eggs if you do that.
Yeah, first, I don't think, yeah, it was, he wanted to kill the mother, and he's like, okay, well, don't kill the mother. She's just protecting her eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan's like, oh, I am a terrible killer. And, yeah, so there is a bit of debate there. They're like, okay, but like, not every member of this generally evil species is evil. Like, okay, you have Mark and Oliver, and Nolan's trying to redeem himself, and Alan even throws in the council's face, Thetis was a Viltrumite in name only. Yeah, okay, the council's playing semantics when it comes with genocide now. See where they lean.
Yes, he's so where's the line where you're a Viltrumite in name only?
How
Is Mark a Viltrumite?
Yeah, like how much DNA do you need to be Viltrumite? How far down are we wiping?
1/16.
Yes, the old human rules. Yeah. So, pivoting entirely from that, more themes. Redemption is a big one, specifically with Nolan. I thought it was very well done how cringy his apology tour was. Even up to,
I'm sorry. No, we're not cool. What?
and then he acts like, what? But I said sorry. Like with Debbie, with Cecil. I think Oliver's he kind of turned around with Mark too. He kind of turned it around with his sons. But basically everybody else on Earth isn't forgiving him. They're starting to, maybe, accept him and his quest for redemption. But yeah, I think Cecil, in one line, summed it up pretty succinctly. He's like, yeah, but you know, I nearly died. And Cecil was like, okay, well, die another 2,071 times or whatever the number was, and then we can talk. Which I had to assume was the number of people he killed in Chicago.
Which seemed kind of low, actually.
No, I thought that made sense. It put into perspective for him, like, I nearly died is like, okay, sure. And Cecil agreed, yeah, that helps. But also it doesn't erase that you killed over 2,000 people and how many others out in space. It's like, yes, you nearly died, but you did kill all these people who aren't coming back. So kudos to you for starting your redemption tour, but don't think it ends here. You said sorry, you're doing the work, but you got to keep putting in the work. And just that number makes it click in Nolan's brain too, just like it did for me. I'm like, oh, yeah, when you put a number to it, it's like he's done so many bad things that a few good acts are not balancing the scales.
And it's debatable whether, assisting in the genocide of his own people is also a good thing. I don't know. It kind of seems like Thetis is a little bit too far the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's on the right direction, but like too far. And he's helping with that side now. So it's like, well.
It's one of those things where I got to see where it goes. Because as a viewer, you see this show and you're like, yeah, genociding the Viltrumites is probably best for the galaxy. But also, there are good ones, and Nolan shows they're capable of redemption. So, and like, they don't plan to do any more immediate harm on planet Earth. They're just gonna live there for a while, and okay, they're gonna have kids. But even if they have kids, it's like they're gonna be like Mark. They're gonna have spouses. Maybe they'll fall in love like Nolan did. Maybe they'll grow up in a different culture on a different planet with different ideals. And like Mark shows that with a Viltrumite parent growing up on Earth can turn out different. And that Viltrumites can be changed by living and immersing themselves other places.
Maybe that's the turning point. Is their planet's gone, their culture's gone, they're basically all dead.
Their empires crumbled.
Here you go, start a new life on here, and maybe they become heroes. I don't know, probably not, but
the potential's there. It's been proven that this scenario makes for at least one hero and a redemption tour.
Well, that's the thing too, is they already said, okay, pure Viltrumites are done. The best they're gonna get now is like Mark.
Yeah.
And he's not unstoppable. There's a lot of things on Earth that have, gone above his power that he's gotten lucky with.
Yep. By the time he left, he was still the most powerful person on Earth, but it was a hard road toughening him up.
Yeah, I just think, like, if that's what the Viltrumites are, is that's, sure, they were on top of the galaxy, far and above before. Now they're lower, and it's like, okay, there's actually quite a few things in the galaxy that can kill them, so maybe we can just leave them alone.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's going to the way the show is going to go. I don't think they're going to use logic for it.
We will see. The show has proven that it crafts surprising and unexpected answers to cliche superhero problems.
Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of its whole thing, is being a more, I don't want to say grounded and realistic, but it is more grounded and realistic in an emotional sense than most superhero worlds. It never wraps up as cleanly as everything else. It's always a little bit messy in this universe, but that's its charm. It's written that way. Because every other superhero thing tends to wrap up with a nice little bow on it. Invincible's always like, there's some lingering traumas here. There's some damage. There's like redemption's not 100%. It's not complete. Nothing's 100%, and the world goes on. But everyone's doing their best every day to try to make it a little bit better. And usually the good guys squeak out a win. It's usually costly, though. A lot of people are gonna die, but we'll see where it goes. So
I still think that you said it earlier, but I think they're still going to use the Scourge at some point. I can't see it not, like, why would it?
It's a Chekhov's gun at this point.
Yeah, it's just there. Or maybe Mark's going to use it specifically on him and the main bad guy.
I don't think Alan's going to use it, because Alan as I said before, I feel like he's seen his mentor keep making these mistakes, and I feel like Alan's gained the wisdom enough to say, yeah, let's not keep making these mistakes, but I think somebody else will.
Somebody, one of them's gonna use it on themselves and then go cough on Thragg and then he'll die.
It's probably going to be Nolan.
Probably.
Nolan is the only other person who knows about it, and he's also the most against it. So I can see him doing a 180, because that's how stories go. It'll be the one you least suspect.
And the most expendable. You're not gonna kill Mark. I don't think they'll kill Oliver.
No, I thought he was.
They tend to not like killing children. Even though
Yeah,
they
but
do
remember,
sometimes.
Oliver's going to be a full adult next season by this rate.
That's true.
That kid grows every season.
Yeah, but he's not sacrifice play worthy enough.
He was a baby 2 seasons ago.
True.
Let's see.
But he's not worthy. If Oliver sacrificed himself at the end to stop Thragg, nah.
Conquest nearly ripped him in half last year. This year, he got his arm ripped off by Thragg.
He's just not a sacrifice play character, though.
But he does such stupid things.
Yeah.
Like,
he's death by stupidness.
He was specifically told 2 times this season, hey, don't go and do my job. I'm gonna do Invincible Ink for you. Bye. And then he has to fight a dragon, goes way out of his depth, and Mark has to come bail him out. Second time, okay, whatever you do, we're not facing Thragg 1-on-1. Got it? Nobody faced Thragg 1-on-1. First thing he does, faces Thragg 1-on-1. Oliver. Okay. But I like that Debbie is going into space now. She's going into space with Omni-Man. That's a cool setup. There's a lot set up for a compelling season 5.
I'm disappointed that they wasted Paul, though.
Yeah.
He was turning out to be a good character.
With great spaghetti.
Yeah. And then they're just like, yes.
Friend zone.
They broke up off screen months ago.
But like, he's still the first call if anything goes wrong, apparently.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I thought there was going to be, some drama or something. From, oh, you're hanging around your ex-husband now.
Yeah. Like, I can tell the show is nearly setting up, like, okay, they kind of want Debbie and Nolan to get back together, but also Paul was the clear healthy choice.
No way, good guy Paul's the way to go.
Yeah, like, he's clearly the healthy choice for moving on, and that makes more sense for her character. And also, but I can tell they wanted some shock factor of, hey, stuff had to happen in 10 months when he was gone.
He literally advised her to go to space with her ex-husband.
Yeah.
Good guy Paul. He's the real hero of the show.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one who's, like, not made morally questionable decisions.
He's emotionally mature, I think.
Yeah.
And probably the only one on the show.
Pretty much. I mean, I think Debbie's pretty emotionally mature, too. She just deals with her problems badly. She has terrible coping. She, like, if you ask her, like, she's a very wise character, but she doesn't cope well.
Some of the reason I think they skipped over all the stuff that happened on Earth in the 10 months is because it's a little unbelievable. Like, it doesn't quite make sense why she would want to leave Paul, especially with, oh yeah, we're too different, except both of her superpowered sons are gone at the moment. So nothing different is actually happening.
He's like, oh yeah, she was a part of their world more. I'm like, yeah, maybe when her sons were here, but
they've been gone. So what changed in the 10 months? And he seemed to be doing pretty well with it.
And they clearly never even got that house.
And then the other thing is, Eve was like, oh, I had no support. And I'm like, if you had to show a segment with Eve on Earth, where was she basically living the entire time? Oh yeah, at Mark's house with Debbie, who would still be there.
That's true.
She literally took in her ex-husband's kid with another woman to raise as her own because that's just who she is. You don't think she would have taken care of Eve or helped Eve with everything?
Especially if she's pregnant with Mark's
even
baby.
even if Mark was dead out in space, she would have helped her raise the child. Like
100%. You're right.
I'm like, that's why I'm like, I was sitting there, I'm like, I feel like that's why they skimmed over it, because if you think about it too straight in the setting, it doesn't make sense what they're saying. What the excuses for things don't make sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a special like that Adam Eve special that comes out before the next season that is like, okay, what was in that 10-month gap? Can we see that play out, please? Even though you're right, it's not going to be, they're going to need to do a lot of hoops to explain it well.
Yeah.
So they're probably just not going to show it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to say, yeah, that happened. Pretend like it makes sense.
Pretend like it makes sense.
Find a scenario in your mind where that makes sense. And that's why I wonder if it actually was a comic too. Because I feel like, speaking as a writer, you can jump to those conclusions and say, yeah, pretend middle stuff happened and it made sense. But if you actually had to write it out, you'd probably come to a different conclusion and realized how forced it felt.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's easier to just say, yep, there was a sequence of events which I didn't have to think about, and this is the result.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Stuff happened, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Sometimes I have issues with the show like that. And also,
if she gave a different reason, I can agree with you. Like her reason was I didn't feel supported and you were gone. And also, like, her powers were on the fritz. And she was having issues and she didn't know if she really wanted it in the first place. Like, she had a lot of reasons, but the main one she gave, I'm like, okay, that's not entirely true.
That was kind of a lame excuse, but
yeah. Like, if she just wanted to get rid of it, okay, but they make her have excuses about why. Like, okay, now you have to justify it. Oh, well.
And also, the animation this year was pretty lazy sometimes.
It was definitely cheaper this year. Except for like a couple select moments where you throw all the budget in. I noticed it's funny, when it came to the animation, a lot of the still shots look gorgeous. Where I'm like, okay, it's not even animation. It's just like a still shot that maybe they put some camera movement on or separated elements or something. But like, there's not animation here. And then the actual animation, I like some details in it. I like when, like tears are forming in characters' eyes or the way the mouths move. But just in general, the animation was cheaper this year.
Like, noticeably. Like, there was a very distinct one when Oliver and Nolan were on the planet. And Oliver was doing something. And Nolan stayed in the same position for a very long shot. Yeah. Like, no blink, no nothing, no movement. I'm like, there's only two characters on the screen, and they're literally taking up half and half. And I'm like, okay, half your screen is still. Yeah. And there's some the worst one was the dragon.
Oh yeah.
It was just a zoom in. I was like, what was that? I mean, like, they made a joke about it in season 2 and actually kind of explained the cheats.
I think that's why I'm harder on this show's animation than most, is because they acknowledged it in the show, and I haven't been able to unsee it since. Apparently that joke, though, was, I think we talked about it in our season 2 review, but apparently that joke was an adaptation of a joke in the comics.
About how they cheat in the comics, yeah.
Yeah, but for the show, they're like, oh, let's make the joke about how we cheat in animation.
Yeah. No, I found that the animation was pretty sloppy this year.
I feel like it gets a little bit worse every year.
Yeah, every year it's been going down. I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like,
It's still pretty good on the whole. I like it when I'm not thinking too hard about every little element.
yeah, but now when like the next Critical Role animated series comes out or whatever they're doing next,
When Legend of Vox Machina comes out and
Which has
blows it
gotta
out of
be-
the water.
the most modern thing I can think of that's really low budget animation.
Yeah.
But now when that comes out and you're like, hey, this looks better than Invincible. Ooh. Like what was the one that just came out? The one we just watched was
Mighty Nine.
yeah. I'm like, okay. They stuck to their standard. Invincible's gone down to the point where you're being surpassed by what I considered the lowest tier of animation.
Yeah.
Like not a dig on Critical Role. It's a way smaller production. That's
Like the first season of Legend of Vox Machina was a crowdfunding project.
yeah. Like obviously it's a smaller production and their animation actually got better after the first season and it
Yeah.
stayed fairly consistent. That's fine by me, but going downwards? Like going downwards, what's going on with that? Is it the budget or they just want to make more money so they
Yeah. That's another
Fire
thing
more people?
I don't understand about it either, is because the show is still popular. It's like, okay, maybe season 1 was the most popular, but I don't think it's fallen off that much in season 4.
No, that's why I'm not quite sure why it's going that way.
Like everybody I know who's watched Invincible is still watching Invincible, even though you had to be coerced into it, but like still here.
I mean, you don't have to coerce me to watch the next season.
Yeah, you just needed to get over the hump.
It was the second season bothered me, but I got through it, but then it was like third season started and it was just continuing the second season. And I went, nope.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's it. Maybe they did lose enough people after the second season that the third season didn't do that well.
Could be.
And they're like, hang on, we're doing a fourth season and then the fifth season will be the last one.
Well, if you recall, there was also the fact that I don't even remember. I think it was between season 2 and 3, there was a ridiculous time gap.
That didn't help.
And then it was like, I don't remember which season it was either, but there was one of the seasons where it was like they released half of it and then it was like another 6-month wait. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it was a stupidly long wait. Halfway through the season.
Maybe that was the third season. I don't remember that.
I swear there was a season where there was like at least a 3-month gap halfway through. Like, oh, we waited 2 years for this, and then it was like 3 more months in the middle of it, and that just bothered a lot of people, me included.
So maybe they did lose a lot of viewership. Maybe they killed the viewership.
And I remember it was a big point for them this season where they're like, okay, we're getting this season out a little more timely and no breaks in the season. You're going to get 8 episodes in a row and no gaps. It's all going to be done. So
that's it. They rushed it because they're like, oh no, we have to have it done in a timely manner.
Could be.
Do it fast.
Could be it.
I don't know. I don't like to see the decline of quality. That's all.
Yeah. And I think the writing and voice acting and like a lot of that is still on the same level as before, but the animation, I don't think it's considerably worse than previous years. If you compare season 1 to now, you'll probably see a bigger difference. But if you compare season 3 to now, it's just a little worse.
I think that was the biggest drop was season 1 to season 2.
Yeah. Every year I just see it a little bit more.
It just gets a little bit worse, yes.
How many more seasons is this show going to get? Maybe 3 more? 4 more?
Is it? I thought it would be done in the next one.
No, I was looking up trying not to spoil myself, but the Invincible comic series ran for about 150 issues, and season 4 gets us roughly till issue 70 something, maybe close to issue 80.
Oh, so it's like half done?
It's a little over half done.
What are they going to do with the rest of it?
I don't know.
Next season's going to be all about... It's not even going to have a single Viltrumite show up except for Mark and Oliver. It's just going to be Guardians of the Globe the whole time.
It's going to be the Monster Girl and Robot show.
Yeah, that will be the first 3 episodes.
Monster Girl and Robot in the alternate dimension.
And then they'll do something else that's totally unrelated.
Reddit says good things are to come. For what that's worth.
I don't trust them.
I have half trust in them. These are comic fans who read the book, I guess, but didn't want to spoil what's gonna come in that particular subreddit.
Well, I don't have faith in the book.
Look, for what I can tell, people are mostly just happy it got an ending. They're like, it's an independent comic that had its own world, that wasn't Marvel or DC, and it got an ending.
That's fair, I guess.
So I saw, to be honest, I saw less about the quality of what that ending was than that they were just happy it got an ending.
They're like, it was a thing. It got made. It was independent.
And it finished.
But why do our independent stories have to be not as good?
I think they are. I think they are. I mean, I think to me, a big thing about Invincible compared to Marvel and DC is that Marvel and DC never end. Invincible is like, hey, it's a consistent timeline and we're growing, we're changing, people die. Okay, we get new costumes sometimes here because we're changing the world a little bit. There's always momentum and there's an end point. The characters will get old. Nobody's going to age, get back, or probably undo everything with time travel or reboot. The multiverse is basically dead and Invincible already. It was nearly an offhand joke. It's like everything that bogs down those main universes is not in Invincible. It's just, all right, here's the superhero story with some real emotional grounding and see how this would play out with some real emotional stakes and not reverted character growth. And yeah, sometimes like actual superhero comics, it stagnates in one place a little too long, but it does keep going. And I don't feel like, look, we're not pulling a Spider-Man and Mark Grayson's going to be in high school in the next 2 years. You know what I mean?
He's going back to college.
You know what I mean? Like he just got his girlfriend pregnant and he was like, and he just fought in a space war. And, you know, in Spider-Man books, he'd be back in high school pretty soon after all this, right? And that's the strength of Invincible. It keeps going. Everything he did he has to sit with it, learn from it, grow from it. The world changes. There's consequences. And the consequences don't get overwritten. So I think it'll be, if it keeps going this way, I think it'll be a fairly well-regarded series in its own right when it's done. It's a very, like, I don't know if I can recommend Marvel movies anymore, you know? Because, well, definitely not the new stuff. Save for, you know, I like Thunderbolt and Fantastic Four this year. But when it comes to Marvel, it's just like, that was to me the thing that I enjoyed most about it at the time was, hey, we're taking the BS from the comics and we're streamlining it in one timeline. And then we got into the multiverse saga and stakes didn't matter anymore. Now we get Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom and all the multiversal variants. And that's the stuff I didn't want to see them poured over from the comics. Because the movies were the sacred timeline, like from Loki. It was a one-shot deal. We see these versions of the characters. They get older, they die. New generation takes their place. Okay, it's linear. Invincible is giving me that. And I think it's going to end that way. So as a complete package, I can recommend Invincible. When it comes to other universes, basically for comics, for movies, for Marvel and DC, it's always, yeah, I can recommend it up to a point. I can say this run is good. This run of issues is good. These individual movies are good. Stop after Endgame for the movies. Need not go further or you will be diluted.
Just watch characters you like at that point.
Yeah. Read individual titles. Don't concern yourself with the universe because it's going to get overwritten in 2 years anyway. But yeah, that's the strength of Invincible as a brand in the superhero space. I think it's not like a deconstruction either. Not the same way something like The Boys seems to be. I speak from ignorance there. But it's not like overly mocking superhero tropes or trying to really say anything super different about them. It's just doing a superhero story and it's doing it with its own strengths. So it's just like, hey, do you want a superhero story that adults can enjoy? Okay, Invincible. And I hope it keeps going at this level of quality roughly and finishes. I think it will be looked back on fondly as a complete package when all is done.
Maybe.
And it's also got the anime thing going for it too, where like they only started animating it once the whole series was finished. It has an ending, and people feel about that however they do. I don't know if it is well regarded or not, but it finished, and it's been trial tested in the public space.
True.
They might do the show better if it wasn't well received. I don't know.
They haven't. Yeah, there's a lot of things that have had trouble with that lately. Not having it be written. Not having it completely written before starting a show or something.
Game of Thrones is the primary example.
That's a big one, yeah.
For most people. Once they went off book, the quality declined. Invincible is already on record as his writer saying, yeah, the stuff we wrote in the comics 20 years ago, okay, we've tweaked the show a little bit to do things they think are better. So they already do tweak their own work. It is written also by the guys who created the comics, which helps. They know this world inside and out, and they're putting their best foot forward to make a compelling product. So as long as they stay on board, I feel like it's Invincible will be looked back on fondly for TV shows. Season 4, I'm gonna rank as pretty darn good though. It's a step down from what I ranked the last season. I would say this could be must-see TV, but the first half bogs it down for me. Once they start getting into the space stuff, I think that's must-see, but overall, I'm just gonna say pretty good because, which I'm saying with more disappointment than I want to, because I wanted it to be very good, and at its peak, it is. It's just took a while to get going.
Well, it was better than I expected, and I expected basically nothing from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still gonna give it a solid mid-tier garbage.
Okay. So, I hope we'll be back for season 5. Whenever that comes out. Hopefully next year. Don't drag it out too long. So, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at jchurchtpm.
And find me on Instagram at ThoughtPlaneMedia. Also check out thoughtplane.ca for a whole feed of everything we do. Find every episode of Closeup there. Head to Head. That's a new show that's coming out lately. Prompt 3 is coming out as we speak. My story is coming out on Friday. I hope this episode comes out before Friday. Otherwise, that makes no sense.
It's Wednesday night. We just watched the show, okay? We just watched Invincible.
I'm hoping
Don't
to
blame
get this
Joe
out by
for being
slow
a
editing.
little late.
Yeah.
Or do.
Or
Flame him in the comments. Do it. I dare you.
Yeah. I'll take your engagement. So, till next time.